Hello, and welcome to my channel, The Sleepy Scotsman, where we explore the rich history and culture of Scotland through its myths, folklore, fairy tales, and legends. Today we will be looking at a tale called the Fairy Boy of Leith. Now, Leith itself is a district within the capital city of Edinburgh. Leith is probably best known for its role in Scotland's Industrial Revolution, housing the Leith shipyards. In modern times, Leith has grown into a vibrant and diverse community within the city of Edinburgh, and I think it is a good representation of Scotland's character. I'm happy to be sharing this tale with you because so many of Scotland's myths and legends are from the countryside and the wilderness, rather than the cities and streets. The Fairy Boy of Leith. The worthy captain, George Burton, communicated to Richard Bovet, gentleman, author of the interesting work entitled Pandemonium, or the Devil's Cloister Opened, the following singular account of a lad called the Fairy Boy of Leith, who, it seems, acted as a drummer to the elves who weekly held rendezvous in the Calton hill near Edinburgh. About 15 years since, having business that detained me for some time at Leith, which is near Edinburgh in the Kingdom of Scotland, I often met some of my acquaintance at a certain house there, where we used to drink a glass of wine for our reflection. The woman which kept the house was of honest reputation among the neighbours, which made me give the more attention to what she told me one day about a fairy boy, as they called him, who lived about that town. She had given me so strange an account of him that I desired her I might see him the first opportunity, which she promised, and not long after, passing that way, she told me there was the fairy boy but a little before I came by, and casting her eye into the street said, "Look you, sir, yonder, he is at play with those other boys." And designing him to me, I went, and by smooth words and a piece of money got him to come into the house with me, where in the presence of divers people I demanded of him several astrological questions, which he answered with great subtlety, and through all his discourse carried it with a cunning much above his years, which seemed not to exceed 10 or 11. He seemed to make a motion like drumming upon the table with his fingers, upon which I asked him whether he could beat a drum, to which he replied, "Yes, sir, as well as any man in Scotland, for every Thursday night I beat all points to a sort of people that used to meet under yonder hill," pointing to the great hill between Edinburgh and Leith. "How, boy," quoth I, "what company have you there?" "There are, sir," said he, "a great company of both men and women, and they are entertained with many sorts of music, besides my drum. They have, besides, plenty variety of meats and wine, and many times we are carried to France or Holland in a night, and return again. And whilst we are there, we enjoy all the pleasures the country doth afford." I demanded of him how they got under that hill, to which he replied that there was a great pair of gates that opened to them, though they were invisible to others, and that within there were brave large rooms, as well accommodated as most in Scotland. I then asked him, how should I know what he said to be true, upon which he told me he would read my fortune, saying I should have 2 wives, and that he saw the forms of them sitting on my shoulders, that both would be very handsome women. As he was thus speaking, a woman of the neighbourhood, coming into the room, demanded of him what her fortune should be. He told her that she had 2 bastards before she was married, which put her in such a rage that she desired not to hear the rest. The woman of the house told me all the people in Scotland could not keep him from the rendezvous on Thursday night, upon which, by promising him some more money, I got a promise of him to meet me at the same place in the afternoon the Thursday following, and so dismissed him at that time. The boy came again at the place and time appointed, and I had prevailed with some friends to continue with me, if possible, to prevent his moving that night. He was placed between us and answered many questions, until about 11 of the clock he was got away unperceived by the company, but I, suddenly missing him, hasted to the door and took hold of him, and so returned him into the same room. We all watched him, and of a sudden he was again got out of doors. I followed him close, and he made a noise in the street as if he had been set upon, but from that time I could never see him. The Fairy Boy of Leith, George Burton. Thank you for tuning in to The Sleepy Scotsman. If you enjoy the content I'm producing, feel free to like and perhaps leave a comment with some of the topics you would like me to explore in the future. Thank you for listening, and all the best.